Presidential candidate Ron Paul is campaigning in Idaho today. That's a state where he says he thinks he's got a good chance of pulling off a victory. Idaho has 32 delegates that are up for grabs in tonight's contest, but some are asking, with no wins in any of these primary states as of yet, why Mr. Paul is still in this race. Here is Congressman Paul answering that very question over the weekend on Face the Nation. Watch.
If you're in a race to make a point or, to promote a cause, the best way to do that is to win. So by the fact that I won 12 times in Congress and got the people of that district to understand what true liberty is about and what a strict constitutional does, do I believe I can win? Yes. Do I believe the chances are slim? Yes, I do.
Presidential candidate Ron Paul joins me now by phone. He is in Boise, Idaho. Good morning, Dr. Paul. Good to have you with us this morning. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
You said something very interesting in that interview that we just played a little piece of. You said that you weren't seeking power, and you believe that that was the problem with, the other candidates and with so many in Washington, that they weren't driven by a mission, as you so clearly are, that everybody else is just in it for power. Is that what you believe?
Yeah, I really do, because policies don't change. If conservatives are honest, they will realize that even when we have the conservatives in control in Washington, the spending continues. Foreign policy never changes. We don't have a more sensible foreign policy on civil liberties. Does one party protect our privacy more than others? Do both parties fully endorse, the Patriot Act and the invasion of our houses and abuse of the Fourth Amendment? They do. Both parties keep spending money. So what are they arguing about? It's how to divvy up the largesse. Who are their best friends? I mean, are you going to bail out Lehman's, or are you going to bail out the Goldman Sachs? It's that sort of thing that goes on. But that's been going on for a long time. I see it as a power struggle much more than a philosophic struggle.
Interesting. You have really gained so much traction over the years in your mission to make people care about liberty and to bring up these issues that you obviously feel so very strongly about. So as you look at this, if there comes a point when you decide that you're not going to win the nomination, who of the other three that are out there that are still in this race with you do you feel also has a mission, has a belief, has a vision for the country that perhaps you could support?
Well, that's a tough question to answer, because it's a real challenge, because more or less just said, everybody's in it for, the reason of exerting power. And I have said many times in the campaign, philosophically, there's not much difference between the other three, because if you look at it, it's just their strategy and their money and their special interest, but they do not have a different policy. I mean, which one would be more sympathetic to challenging the Federal Reserve and how it contributes to the business cycle? I see that as so fundamental. If we don't understand the business cycle and why we have booms and busts, how can you deal with the unemployment? It's actually impossible. And then they talk about the inflation of prices. Well, inflation of prices is a consequence of the Federal Reserve. And right now, we're moving into a period of time where gasoline may go to $5, and how is that related to our foreign policy? There's threats of a bigger war in the Middle East. If we ignore that and pretend that, what we're going to do is deregulate a little bit and we're going to get gasoline down to $2, I mean, that's dreaming, and that's about all the others are offering. So I don't see any one candidate that jumps out and thinks that's the case. So, I mean, we're still at a point where we're pursuing, the hunt for delegates. And quite frankly, I don't see where in the near future any one candidate is going to be a guaranteed winner of this primary. I think it's going to go on for a while.
So if it goes on for a while, and if you do get to that point where you feel like securing the GOP nomination is untenable, what would your next move be? How would you continue this mission that has clearly built momentum and gotten a lot of attention through this process?
Well, yeah, and I guess we'll decide that. Right now I have to concentrate on Super Tuesday and continue to do my work in Idaho here and North Dakota and do our very best. But most people give me credit. Even last night we were at a rally and somebody come up and, matter of fact, they said it publicly. They said, I heard him speak 30 years ago. He's saying the same thing. So they know that I'm going to continue to do it, but the better we do, the more attention we get. We've never had this much attention, and it's not strictly about me, because I'm not looking for any power at all, but I do want to have influence on the future of the country. So in that case, this momentum, like you had mentioned, is really building up. I mean, it is always a challenge to me to understand the disconnect, because I think if people did a statistical analysis, I think we get the largest crowd. I mean, we can go to a university and get 4,000 people out.
Well, we got to go, and I do thank you so much for your time. I know you're busy today, but before I let you go, real quickly, would you ever consider pursuing, and I know you've said no, but an independent candidacy in this race?
No, I don't have any. I don't have any plans. I don't have any plans to do that.
Right.
I'll continue with my independent spirit, but I don't have any plans for that. I'm still looking for delegates.
All right, Congressman Paul, good luck to you and to everybody tonight. Thank you very much for being with us today. Good to speak with you.